The elders of Kamuli were looking for a representative in CA. And their first selection was that we want people who are educated, who can meet the challenges of today. And so they sent my father to look for me and to interest me in politics. I didn't believe that I could ever join politics because, as I told you, I'm a very shy person. And nobody ever believed that I could ever make any public speech. But anyway, here I am. A very changed person from Saul to Paul. So I came here in politics in 1993. The public had wanted me to be the woman representative. But the district was so big. At that time, the district included Kaliro. It included, yes, it included Buyende. It was so huge. So I thought to myself, look, I don't have the kind of energy to go around the entire district of 23 sub-counties. I can't. So they had just created a constituency, a new constituency called Bugabula South. So I said I'd come to Bugabula South, and everybody was in shock. I said, how can you come to a men's constituency? I said, why not? Why is it labeled that this is men's? It's not men's. It's not men's. It's only that men want to take all of it. And I said, no, if I'm going to contest at all, I'm going to contest in Bugabula South, which has only 4 sub-counties. For me, it was mathematics. Yes. It was economics. I said, 23 and 4, which one would I go for? Yes. So I said, I'd rather fail in 4 than fail in 23. Yes. So I came and expressed interest in representing the people of Bugabula South. But I was having to contend with big men, big names, big size. I was such a small thing, you know, I was size 12. And nobody took me serious, you know. But you know, we girls, when we are so well educated with our gezi pansi, as my headmistress used to call it, you come here showing off everybody, you are, you know, you hip all over everybody how you went to school. People didn't like me, didn't like it because they took me aside and said, look, we know you went to school, but don't load it over us. Yes. Please. I said, okay, I heard you. So I was forbidden to talk about my education. They said, we know you went to school, full stop. Don't load it over the population. They don't like it. Don't tell us about where you work. Because then everybody was saying, because of TASO, they said, oh, you see, that was, it was stigmatized. That she works in TASO, so this one is going to die tomorrow. She has AIDS, so why? I said, no. So I had to defend myself from the professional perspective, from the educational, from every angle. And then at some point, some men just could not stand me. They said, look, we are going to make laws. Laws can't be made by women. So they asked me, what do you know about land? I said, even if I don't know, I will learn. I was very honest with them. I said, look, I may not know today, but I will learn. But I can promise you one thing, I will never cheat you, I will never shortchange you, I will die with you on land ownership, and I will be your advocate day and night, whether I've consulted or not. I'm giving you my word as an honest person, I will be there for you. Well, my rating was very low at the start, but I'm telling you, I won that election.
You stood your ground.
I won that election, but I wasn't declared the winner.
Oh.
I wasn't declared the winner. A gentleman by the name Brewer Abaliwano, very big name in this part of the country, because he comes from a very rich background, royalty linked. They were the first people to be educated. They were educated in UK. You know, they had it all. So he was the person done for this place. So anyway, by the time I was through with the elections, I was so tired, I was so exhausted. I was just glad it was over. I went home, took a deep breath, and slept. I was even missing sleep.
Yes.
I'd never known sleep was so sweet until after that election. I just went home and slept. I didn't even contest the outcome. I knew that I had done my best and that my people loved me. They had not rejected me, because that was my biggest fear. I said, now, the difference in votes was about 1,000, and only 1,000. And so they kept wondering, people kept asking me, who are you? In those days, you had to be someone, somebody.
Yes.
Either coming from which family or when. It wasn't about you, it was who are you, where do you come from, and what. How could you make it? And then that's a season of political godfathers, you know. You had to be coming from somewhere. I said, no, I just got up from my desk and came here and delivered the message to the people, and the people gave me their trust. So I let it go for CA. I went back to Red Cross, did my work, and then 1996 I came back to contest again.
The same place.
This very place. I've never gone anywhere else.
Yes.
So anyway, in 1996 I won.
I declare Salam Musumba Proscovia of FDC.
It's said that perseverance is failing 19 times and succeeding the 20th. She has pushed herself every step of the way to where she is now. Even in her political life, she has failed over and over again, but to my surprise, she won't stop. That's the mark of a hero.
Was that same person there
He
also?
was. He came
And
back.
you beat him out?
But he had performed so poorly that we were in shock that he ever came back.
So
But
the people
there were
lost
some
trust.
elders who really could not stand me, you know, but also who could not let down the family of the Brewer Baliwanos. They had attachments, long-term attachments with the family, and they thought they owed it to them to maintain them as leaders in the area. But there were others who were willing to risk and present me as their MP. And my challenge all through was that I should not let them down. I should never let them down. There are men who could not stand me sitting in front of them. And they would leave the rallies, because we were in these joint rallies. When I stood up to talk, they would be pissed off, totally pissed off. And you know, as young people who have been successful, people who have read their books, you know your stuff. Whenever I sit, I would cross my leg. So they said, lady, you can never cross your leg in front of us. You can do this to us. So that too was a challenge. But because I'd never grown up as a girl in a village, I didn't know all these taboos. I didn't know the taboos. I didn't know the don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
Yes. As they said, no, for us we can't stand a woman. A girl, I wasn't even a woman at that. A girl crossing their legs
in front of
us. How? You should be seated and kneeling. So I took lessons. I was a very fast learner. By the way, when I came here, I didn't know a single word of Lusoga.
Oh, and
That
I heard
asks
you
for
speaking
votes.
on the phone. You're so fluent.
Of course, I learned. I took lessons.
Wow.
They had to find me tutors. You know, even the way Basogas speak, I didn't know much about how they speak. They speak in a very colorful language, in parables, in parables. They're actually like a Bible. So if they want to communicate, they communicate using third.
Oh yes.
A third party.
Yes.
So for me, I was just a professional. Say it as it is, say it brief and efficiently, move on. Next. No, these ones are very oral people. They like to enjoy the conversation. It's like a story. So I had to tone down. I had to tone down. They said, look, if you want to work with us, you must be like us. Okay? So I had to learn all the sayings. And of course, to color the language. You always say, umusoga akoba, ate akulenu metiga kulandala. You know? Then you would have communicated.
Yes.
Then I had to find so many antidotes on things that demean women. Like one day they told me, how can a woman stand in front of us? Enko kenkazi yona. Esobola kolyokomera mbantu. Enko kenkazi bwe kolyokoma bagikola batya. Ati bagisala ku mutwe. Bajiria. I said, now this is a tight one. Because a hen has never crowed, really. Now it is taboo for a hen to crow. Now if I'm the hen, the message is that slaughter it. It's a bad omen. So I looked at my tutors. I said, guys, now how do I deal with this? They said, don't worry, tomorrow you will answer it. Because these ones now were repeating it. So I found a crude one. This one, I wasn't told what it meant.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it was obscene, I was told later on. So I said, kodi mwakobye mutya? Mutya enko kenkazi bwe kolyokoma bagikola batya? Ati bagisala ku enkoto. Nti aye mbere nemwe abasoga malamu akoba. Mutya ekikuzeewo kibiika kinaki? Kibeeka kinaki? Ense nebeeka empanga. Muleke ndibeeke. It was so obscene, you know? It was so obscene. But so that I dissuaded everybody, I wanted it to be a deterrent so that they never say it again. Yes. And they never. It worked. It worked. So I learned Lusoga exactly in a month. Of course, I knew this Lusoga, the simple one of asking for water, of passing by. But the solid one, I learned it on the job. And I learned so well. You can't beat me in Lusoga now. So this gave me an opportunity to touch base with the society where I am born and where. So politics has been my chosen path now. I went back, I came back here for another election in 2001. In 2006, that's when we went into multi-party politics. And for me, mine was really a principle. During CA, the only part of constitutionalism that had not been exercised was term limits. And that was the heart of the new constitution, that I, at my age of 50, I would be able to see a smooth transfer of power from one leader to another.
Yes.
That was my dying wish, I'm telling you. But then clouds started gathering, political clouds that showed that actually that would not happen.
Yes.
And that was the game changer for me. I said, look, I made a promise. You remember in CA when I told you that I would never betray my people. Because the political history of this area was that we elected a DP candidate in 1980. And that DP candidate, they all switched sides overnight. Endangered our families because our families were DP families. They were all endangered. They were all hounded by UPC. We lived in total fear. That's why I hate injustice. Because I grew up in fear. My father would be arrested from a Malua port any day that he was Miyekera. I said, but a man seated on a Malua port, how does he overthrow a government? How fragile is this kind of government that is overthrown by people having a beer? So for me, the sense of injustice just rubs me the wrong way, even when it is not about me. I want to tell you that I love politics. And you know why I love it?
It's not been a smooth road, but you enjoy
I
it.
love it. You see, this is the opportunity where you can change people's lives in an hour. You can sit in parliament and pass a policy that will empower people forever. You don't have to make project proposals. You don't have to speak about it forever. You can change people's lives just in an hour through policy. And I did my degree in policy study and policy analysis, policy evaluation, costing policies. How much will this policy So I am comfortable with all these policy switches and stuff, and that's what I love. And I'm always asking myself to be in a position where I can make people's lives better. When I have the authority, I have the power, I have the capacity to transform people's lives. That's what makes me happy. So that's why I'm stuck in politics. People keep saying, "Us again the same year." I said, yes. Have you ever asked a doctor why he has not changed profession? A doctor is a doctor, actually, an older doctor. You're more comfortable in their hands.
Yes,
so you should be more comfortable in the hands of an older politician like me.
Yes. When you talk about being shy,
Yes.
most people see you as assertive, or let me call it aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Yes. Where do you get that energy? What
It
drives
is,
you?
I'm telling you, I am so allergic to injustice. I just blow up. I lose control because I keep asking, how can a person with 2 legs and 1 head and 2 eyes overrun another one when they could talk? I mean, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk. That's the difference between a dog and a cow and me and you. We can talk.
Yes.
If I've made a mistake, I'll be the first one to apologize. But also, it's a defense mechanism. You know? It's a defense mechanism because people really look down on us as women. The first definition when they say you is that, this is a woman. And I always want to take it back to them that, my friend, you're wrong. I'm a person.
I'm a human being.
I'm a person.
Yes.
It's not my biology that you're talking about. Biology is another fact, another function. But for a starter, I am a person with the same rights as you and with the same capacity to a large extent. So I'm largely not aggressive. Actually, politics has changed my character. I have just looked at myself, I've just done an introspection and said, you know, opposition politics changed my character so much that Ugandans actually don't know who I am. They actually think I'm a very aggressive person, I'm a very intolerant person, but I'm not. People who have worked with me know that I'm actually the opposite. At one point I said, look, I should change my profession. My profession now is bully. All I want to do is to be a bully. Bully. I have changed that. Now I really want just to be a model for people to understand that this life we lead, we should live it well. It's the only thing we have. And let's do our best.
From her story, even if your aspirations are not like hers, you can still be a hero in your family. You can be a hero to your children.